take control. You're on my mind, baby. Just move a little closer. And I say, oh, it's a night we'll both remember. Oh, sweet surrender. Oh, we're moving close together. Wanna make your body mine through the night. Hot and sweet through the night. Let's get out fast and slow. I wanna get to know you. I know a place where we can go. It's just around the corner. And I say, oh, it's a night we'll both remember. Oh, sweet surrender. Oh, we're moving close together. Wanna make your body mine. And I say, oh, it's a night we'll both remember. Oh, sweet surrender. Oh, we're moving close together. Wanna make your body mine through the night. Ooh, ooh, yeah, baby. I wanna make your body mine. Wanna make your body mine. Make your body mine through the night. It's a night we'll both remember. Hot and sweet. It's a night we'll both remember. Hot and sweet. Hot and sweet.
The ghetto president that they thought Obama would be is officially Donald Trump. This dude is walking like he's Bodie from The Wire with burner.
morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday, hump day on the Morning Night Live, as always. I'm happy you're here, as always, and we got a lot to go. Blah, blah, blah. We got a lot to talk about, so I'm gonna just this pre-intro thing that I do sometimes. I'm just gonna let me mute my phone here. I'm gonna, well, you'll see. Play the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, P. Dawg Knight. Yes, Queen. What's up, everybody? I'm Marty, also known as P. Dawg Knight on the internet. Welcome back to the P. Dawg Knight Channel for the Morning Night Live. I kind of did that backwards. I'd say it the other way around usually. But anyway, it's the 6th of April, 2022, on Marty's birthday week, because, you know, fireworks. Anyway, I'm happy you're here. Hope you're glad you're here. We're here every day, Monday through Friday. 10 o'clock Eastern or around that time, depending what time I leave my other form of employment. So that's why I'm a little late today, as I am on some days. Well, a lot of days lately. We've been pretty busy later into the morning at UPS. The company where perhaps Kamala Harris should get a job because she really likes that brown suit. She wore it again yesterday for some event at the White House. We'll talk about that. And it kind of leads to the question of, is it over? Is it over? Is it over? But yet, but apparently there's 3 more years of this, of Joseph Rahim Biden. Although in my calculations, let's see, what's his April? I predicted 10 months from now, that woman in the brown suit will be your president. I'm just saying, that's my prediction. I could be wrong. You know how it is. I could be wrong. And likely I am wrong. But when it happens, I'm going to be like, I told you so. So anyway, welcome to the show. I just got a whole bunch of stuff up here today, so I'm going to try to get to it all in short order with kind of short snippets, and then, as I always do, everything I talk about, everything I reference, every tweet, every article, every video, whatever, I'll put into a single link during the outro, and you can either, you know, come back, or you can click the link, because I put it in the chat too as I make that change. And what happens is it'll all be in one link, a single link in the second paragraph of the description down below, where you can find all the links to everything we do today. So just a reminder that I do that on the daily. But first, before I get into anything, I want to say good morning to everybody, like I always do. People who get here early, I will say hi, and I'm going to keep doing this no matter how big this channel gets. If this channel gets to, you know, millions and millions of people, I will still say hi to the first 50 or so people that pop into the chat. Today, I'm fortunate there's 16, so that'll be a lot easier. Anyway, first in the chat today, and who gets the bell? That would be Avocatus Diabli, the Devil's Advocate. Thank you for being here. Also, good morning to Rockhopper, a friend from down under. Selected boys in the house. Yeah, also, good morning to Rotten Corpse, Mike Savage, Blarg, Tyre Alexander, a.k.a. Prometheus Unchained. Good morning. Also, good morning to James PFP. Who else is here? Oh, Septus Wolf, JMK, Dom O'Leary. Let's see, GD, SOB. I'll never call you an SOB, but you know what I'm saying. Also, good morning to... is that everybody? That's all that's here? You got Attack Alpacas in the house. Nice to see you. And people will make their way into the room as we move along. Oh, I see Tyler F's here. I see Always Lost in Nothing Else, aka Alone. Till now, I always got by on my own. I never really cared until I met you. I work my fingers to the bone. How do I get you alone? It's been a while since I've sung that, and I thought I'd just break that one out today. Who else is here? Willett Forge is in the house. I see Beamworthy. That's a name I haven't seen before. Beamworthy, welcome to the show. I'm glad you're here. If you're new or not, it's a name I don't see as often. So welcome. By the way, anyone here who's not subscribed, click that button, hit the bell, and all that stuff. There you go. All right, let's get into it because I got a lot to go through today. I'll get to the. Let's give you just the update because I tend to like to update on the situation in Ukraine, usually via Twitter, which is not necessarily the greatest source. It's probably as propagandistic as anyone else, but it is what it is. Oh, you came from Twitter. Well, I'm glad you're here. Fantastic. I'm glad you're here. Beamworthy, welcome. Airstrikes continue in Mariupol as Zelensky asks the UN to remove Russia from the Security Council. Now, I've always... Well, I guess maybe, I guess I don't care if Russia's on the Security Council because the Security Council, they all the powers should probably be there, right? Now, when it comes to the Human Rights Council, when you have like Cuba leading the Human Rights Council or Saudi Arabia or whatever, any Middle Eastern country, that's always a joke. Oh, no, it was Iran. Was it Iran? And then it was Cuba. I think I don't know if Venezuela was ever had that. But anyway, I wouldn't care if the UN just push that building off into the Atlantic Ocean. But anyway, heavy fighting alongside Russian airstrikes are continuing and the besieged Ukrainian city of Mariupol, according to an intelligence update from the UK's Ministry of Defense. Earlier in a video address to the UN Security Council, Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky stated Russian troops are committing the most terrible war crime since World War II. He urged the council to remove Russia as a member or dissolve itself. I vote for the latter. And his speech came a day after a visit to Kiev suburb of Bucha. I don't know if it's which way to say it, with a hard C or a ch sound, but it doesn't matter. Well, it matters, but it won't change my report. Where satellite images appear to show bodies left in the open. Okay, so again, just break out your salt shaker, pull out a few grains, put them on the table, and I'll take that. And then apparently in this timeline, it's war, and I know that they have civilians out there with guns. Part of this, laugh my ass off. Removing Russia from the Security Council is the only way they can cut off all intelligence gathering. Yeah, that's probably true too. Someone made a really good point. Who was that? Who was saying, and it's pretty much my thought is, Russia invasion Ukraine is an awful thing and terrible, but as far as those two countries, it's none of our concern. It's shitty what Russia's doing, and I hope they lose their asses big time, whatever. But Ukraine's not a part of NATO. It's not ever going to be a part of NATO. And they have a long history between the two of them. And I don't necessarily understand that history. All I know is that get this shit over with and let's get back to things that concern us here. If we get pulled into it because they attack a country that we're aligned with, then we're going to have some problems. But for now, just because our president has a son with many business dealings. In fact, a lot of our politicians have children with business dealings over there. That's, I guess, a risk they took. I don't know. But it's not a good thing, but it's none of our damn business as far as I'm concerned. Someone here says, correct, impose full sanctions as harsh as possible. Relax only when full Ukrainian sovereignty over all territories, including Crimea, is restored and Russia starts paying war reparations. Reimpose sanctions if the Kremlin backslides. Problem with that is not all of Russia's allies and people they do business with are in the same boat. India, China, and so on and so forth. So, there's a couple giant populated countries that just say, well, whatever. So that's somebody, who is that? That's why 212 parliament members demanded a special EU-CO meeting to decide on full sanctions immediately. I don't know what that means. But anyway, so that's the update over there. I know people are interested in that. I don't know. I'm more interested in what's happening over here. Now, just a couple other things that are happening. The Washington Times has done an editorial on Ketanji Jackson Brown. Let's see. This is an interesting title here. Ketanji Braxton Brown being soft on pedophilia and child pornography is a big deal. Lenient sentencing should disqualify her from the Supreme Court. That seems to be that's the line from the right is saying, and I disagree? I'm concerned. I'll tell you that. And the idea that this is that it's a racist attack on Ketanji Brown. Oh no, stop it. I don't know if that's really true, but Judge Ketanji Brown has this is their editorial, has a troubling record of pornography. It is a big deal. Child pornography is an epidemic plaguing our country. Filming rape of children is a federal crime and causes trauma one cannot even fathom. It's processed and distributed as child pornography, known as child sexual abuse material, because that's what it is, child abuse. During Judge Jackson's Supreme Court confirmation hearings, Judge Hawley and others have pointed out her history of light sentencing in child pornography cases. What's even more troubling is her commentary about such cases. So this is, as far as I know, this is one of the few bigger names. Now, it's not a huge name. The Washington Times is a huge name. It's the conservative paper in Washington, D.C., and it's the first paper that I've seen that has actually come out against her confirmation. She will be confirmed, though. You can thank Mitt Romney, Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins. Those three have already said that they will vote for her. So glad she doesn't make any decisions singly. It's the Supreme Court. They make big decisions on the biggest cases, and only the biggest cases get heard by the Supreme Court. And the most constitutionally challenged cases make the Supreme Court. So I don't know if her influence is going to be any more than Stephen Breyer's was. Part of the issue that some say that she's an activist. Okay, whatever. As much as I would rather her not be on the court, it's not the hill I'm going to die on right now. I don't want her on the court. All right, let's move on. Because like I said, I have a bunch of things. I was watching one of those, or listening to one of those Twitter space things. The spaces, where people come and talk. And apparently, Elon Musk really has the blue check mark shook. So I was watching this. This is the Twitter space, and I encourage you to go listen to it because it's very interesting. And I'll just tell you what I wrote about it, because it's a bunch of people from. It was people from the Washington Post. There were, I think, 4 or 5 people from the Washington Post talking about Elon Musk taking this share in Twitter, right, which we talked about yesterday. And I just found it so ironic because a lot of people are saying, oh, this billionaire taking over Twitter and this and that and blah, 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 and he's going to change how Twitter does. How can this billionaire have so much control over free speech and editorial the direction of Twitter, blah, 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 blah. And so with all these people from the Washington Post decided to have this little forum on their Twitter spaces, I was thinking to myself, oh my God, is this ironic? A bunch of employees, what did I say? The irony of a bunch of like-minded blue check Jeff Bezos employees, because Jeff Bezos owned the Washington Post. Fretting over Elon Musk's potential influence over Twitter is fascinating. Now, like I said, you should listen to this because there's this real subtle us versus Elon in our playground vibe to it. That's what I wrote here. Yeah, so they're just talking about the Elon Musk. And if you play this, I don't know if you can play this. Yeah, you can. So I want to show you, because who the people in here too
and
made me
do
laugh.
crazy things.
Here, we'll pause here. And I want to, now, we were talking about Taylor Lorenz the other day, right? And Taylor Lorenz was one of the people in this forum. And Taylor Lorenz, I don't know if you're familiar with her, but she's one of the worst people on the planet as far as trying to get people canceled for having certain ideas and whatnot. And let's see, is she on? Let's see here. Oh, it won't play now. I wanted to play a clip of her because just so you can get an idea what it sounded like. But for some reason, this is not working right now. It was working a minute ago. It would play. It won't play. Now, one of the problems with Twitter Spaces, it has glitch. It's glitchy. It's glitchy.
Whether it should basically be.
Let's see here.
At this
Here
point.
we go.
It's gotten him in trouble many times. It also, Fez has reported on how Musk's tweets are a marketing strategy for Tesla. They drive attention. That's why Tesla doesn't have
Taylor
to
Lorenz
buy
is coming up here
car commercials, right? Elon Musk is their commercial. He is their car commercial. Taylor, can you talk a little bit about Elon's role
Listen to Taylor here.
In like tech culture and in the tech ecosystem, and like what do you make of him now being officially part of Twitter instead of just one of Twitter's loudest and most popular and most annoying voices?
And now that's the other thing too. During this space, they constantly use language like him saying being one of Twitter's most annoying voices. Now, I would bet you that most people who are kind of independent-minded, or even just a lot of conservatives like Elon Musk, I'm not sure why, maybe just because he is kind of a free speech absolutist type of person, even though I don't think he's necessarily conservative by any stretch of the imagination. But he's like, even with the oil stuff, he's like, yes, I'm working on a technology that would be good for the environment and global warming and blah, 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 all these electric cars. But you should also have, be able to produce these things, and you need oil to do it. So anyway, here's Taylor Lorenz.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Elon Musk does anything quietly. I cannot imagine him investing in Twitter and being silent for a minute, like you said. I think it'll be interesting to see kind of how he warps the platform and like.
It'll be interesting to see how he warps the platform. This is Taylor Lorenz. If you know anything about her, you'd know why I'm laughing.
The way that he cultivates his image within the company. Like, I mean, we've seen even on like things like Ukraine, like he'll kind of like vacillate wildly between like very different views on things. I don't think he's like, I think the conservative, media and sort of voices online definitely feel like they have this ally now, and they do. But at the same time, I think he likes to kind of be unconventional and do crazy things.
By the way, Elon Musk is a conservative like Joe Rogan's a conservative. I'll just put that out there, if you know what I'm saying.
So I think it's going to cause a lot of tension and whip up, and it's going to get him more followers as well. I think it's this, like him having this board seat is only going to add to his power on the platform. So it's this like feedback relationship that almost just gives him more and more clout.
Can I also jump in and say to Taylor that on Taylor's point that like I was talking today to Emerson Brooking, who's at the Atlantic Council, who studies this stuff, and he was talking about how he thinks that on that topic of clout, it only brings Elon more clout if he does decide to reinstate Trump. There's really no downside for him in doing that. So we could discuss that later.
So now that's all I'm going to listen to. You should listen to yourself. That'll be in the links. But it's so funny, and they're so worried about whether or not they're going to bring Trump back onto Twitter, which, you know, Twitter was in its heyday when Trump was on Twitter. Twitter was just a lagging entity. It was dying in 2016 before the election. But then the fact that Trump was on there and everyone was, you know, Trump generated interest in Twitter and made it important to be on Twitter, right? Because, you know, basically that's where his campaign was. And so now they're spending all this time on how they're going to try to, you know, silence anyone that. Now, look, I'm not saying that they try to silence conservatives and anyone who disagree with them, but the most likely people to be silenced on Twitter are people who disagree with the politics of the people who are at Twitter. There's a lot of people there saying, we're going to quit, we're going to do that, whatever. So they got the whole world shucked. Now, the only reason I brought that up, it made me also think about, I was checking out the Washington Post, and I wanted to show you something, but before I show you the Washington Post thing that I want to show you, something that, because this is the Washington Post. Remember, the Washington Post is owned by Jeff Bezos. Okay? And there was, you know, a lot of the worry of having Elon Musk has 10% of Twitter stock and being on the board is that, oh no, he might have too much influence on Twitter. He might mess up our playground. He might make this place unsafe. And they talk about in that this thing, you know, are they going to now allow disinformation again? Because disinformation to them is things that we don't agree with or things that we don't think are possible, even though they're not necessarily disinformation. So I want to show you a little clip, and then I want to show you what is pinned to the top of the Washington Post Twitter account. Now, not too long ago, there was a big story in Washington, and it happened to be regarding Donald Trump and something about January 6th. So here's some examples of this story, this big story that came out about Donald Trump and January 6th.
The ghetto president that they thought Obama would be is officially Donald Trump. This dude is walking like he's Bodie from The Wire with burner phones and erasing phone records.
Trump, or someone in his administration, appears to have actually tampered with the records.
These White House records are not just incomplete. The gap suggests staggering and potentially willful omissions.
7 hours?
7 hours.
Makes the 18 minutes of erased Oval Office tape around Watergate look like a game of patty cake.
Donald Trump, a man who makes Richard Nixon look like a Boy Scout.
Donald Trump makes Nixon look like a piker.
Donald Trump has acted like a mafia boss.
He didn't want a record of the calls, and what he was saying in those calls is anybody's guess.
There appears to be a real cover-up of who Trump was talking to while the mob was attacking and ransacking the Capitol.
Everyone remember this story? The 7 hour gap?
That were in the Oath Keepers or some of the other rioters that were involved in this.
It looks like he made a decision. I'm going to take this offline.
This was
for the
big
next 7.5 hours. To me, that's really compelling evidence of his state of mind.
What this shows is he's staying out of sight in order not to have any record of what he's talking about. That would actually be, in a real trial, something that would trigger a consciousness of guilt instruction.
7 hour
This
gap.
clearly is a crime if
and
it
the dean
involves
of
dishonesty and trickery. And, of course, that defines the Trump actions on this.
This is a very big deal, and it's just more evidence of bad faith by Donald Trump.
Yes.
Donald Trump and his allies, whether they removed calls from the log or they made secret calls on burner phones, knew what they were doing was wrong and tried to hide it.
Yes,
Simple as that.
They did. Oh, wait a minute. What's this? And look look at the top of the Washington Post here. This is their pinned tweet on the Washington Post. This very minute, this is what is pinned to the top of the Washington Post's Twitter feed. Meaning that anyone who goes to the Washington Post profile, this is the first thing they see. White House logs from January 6th turned over to the House show gap in Trump calls of 7 hours and 37 minutes with the Washington Post article right there, right? That's pinned. Wait a minute. What? Wait, Johnny, what? Johnny? Wait, what? Where? Oh, click the next one? What's this? Official review of Trump phone logs from January 6th find record is complete. Oh, no! Official review of Trump phone logs from January 6th finds record is complete. What? There's no missing 7 hours? In the 7 hours during which the White House records show no phone calls to or from then-President Donald Trump on January 6, 2021, among the calls that are conspicuously absent is one Trump made to then-Vice President Mike Pence that morning from the Oval Office. Wait a minute. Finds records complete. While the call is not specifically noted in the presidential diary or the presidential call log, its existence has been corroborated by multiple sources who were with Trump and Pence that day, including former aides who testified before the House Select Committee investigating the U.S. Capitol attack. And it's not the only call Trump is known to have made in that time frame that is not reflected in the records. The mystery of the 7-hour gap has fueled furious speculation as to why calls are missing. That includes allegations that Trump was using burner phones. Burner phones? Which he has denied, or that the logs were purposely suppressed. But the gap may have a less mysterious explanation. According to multiple sources familiar with Trump's phone behavior and the White House switchboard records, the January 6th log reflects Trump's typical phone habits. He mainly placed calls through the switchboard when he was in the residence, but rarely used it when he was in the Oval Office. The fact the log does not show calls in January 6, 2021 from the Oval Office is not unusual, said sources, because Trump typically had staff either place calls directly for him on landlines or cell phones. Those calls would be not noted to the on the switchboard log. 6 pages of White House switchboard logs from January 6, 2021 are complete based on an official review of White House records, according to a source familiar with the matter. So, the Washington Post still has this pinned to the top of their Twitter feed. Fascinating. And even Raw Story says, hey, official review suggests there's a simple explanation for the 7-hour gap in Trump's call log. From This is CNN. So anyway, hilarious. But they're really shook about Trump, they're really shook about Mr. Musk being on the board of Twitter, and I do encourage you to go watch that, or let's go listen to that Spaces. It's a recording of Spaces. It'll be linked in the description down below at the end of the show. All right, let's move on, because the topic today is this is crazy, because he's only been in office a year and 3 months. Is the Biden presidency over? I guess it's over. Call it a day. Well, first of all, I don't know if you saw this. This is kind of a pretty funny video, and you can never really judge the entire world that's happening by a 13-second video, but this one is just one that you gotta see. Watch as Biden wanders lost on stage at a White House event. Joe Biden invited his former boss, Barack Obama, to the White House because apparently Obamacare needed some good press to remind the public how much better our lives are because of it. And even though Biden had to issue another executive order to fix the legislation. But be that as it may, as the grand speeches concluded, Biden signaled the latest Obamacare fix. The president found himself mindlessly on stage alone, and his fellow Democrats were all stuck to Obama like flies on, horse pookie, almost wondering where he was and wherever he went. So here's the video. It's kind of there's a little bit of humor to this, and I'll show it to you probably more than once. So here he is wandering around. Well, where is everybody? Oh, everyone is over there talking to Barack Obama. Nobody wants to talk to the president of the United States, and he's going to wander off by himself. Oh, poor Joe. Poor Joe. Do you want to see that again? Let's just show it again because it's funny. I'm going to replay it just so you see it. Here we go. There he is, wandering around. Nancy Pelosi just walking right by him, not even say anything to him. The Marine Guard turns his back. All these people his back. He's not even to go over there. He's just wandering around. Now, who's over there with him? It looks like, that kind of looks like Clyburn. I don't know who this is. Pelosi went, this is Pelosi down here. And poor Joe just wandering off by himself. Oh, well, it's sad. Sad day. Anyway, couldn't help think of this. This is funny. Wait, literally no, it kind of reminds you of this, eh? Where's everybody? Yeah, it's kind of weird. So anyway, interesting article in the American Thinker today. And I just wanted, this is my highlight article of the day. We'll edit it again. All these sources will be in the description down below. Is that fitting on the page? Yes, it is. Proof has emerged from the White House that Biden's presidency is over. I found this fascinating. Barack Obama was at the White House yesterday, making it clear, as did others at the reception held in Obama's honor, that President Biden's presidency is over. Watching Obama suck the oxygen out of the room made me wonder if Obama is planning a comeback, something he can easily do. The ostensible reason for Obama's return to the White House was to celebrate Obamacare's 12th anniversary. Now, if you can celebrate our modern, cowardly, corporate-run medical care, along with overpriced insurance that does little for people with serious health issues, well, that seems to be your problem. The reception at Obama's honor, though, hinted that the event's real purpose was to signal to Democrat apparatchiks that Biden is now shark chum. The chumming process began when Obama referred to Biden as the vice president after a law's pause that was joke. Now, let me ask you something. I want you to watch this clip too, because, well, here's what he did, and then I got a question.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Have a seat.
By the way, wait a minute.
Thank you.
Hang on, before he says anything, note the UPS employee in the background. Anyway, I just thought I'd laugh about that again.
Thank you. Vice President Biden, Vice President. That was a joke.
Now, let me just put a question in the chat here. Do you think that joke was intentional, or was it a slip? So if intentional, yes. It was a slip, no. There's the question. All right. Does that sound like, now look, let me just remind you too. I don't think this is a big deal at all. It's just a slip. He's spent 4 years or whatever, 8 years introducing him as Vice President Biden. So, but I don't think it was a joke. I think it was just a slip, which is, well, I don't know.
That was a joke.
Now, and actually, and look at, now, first of all, let me go back. I want you to watch Kamala Harris after this, after he says the joke.
Thank you, everybody. Have a seat.
Now, you know everyone came to see Obama. No one came to see Joe Biden. Watch Kamala Harris.
Thank you.
Funniest joke ever.
Vice President Biden, Vice President. That was a joke.
Now, you know that cackling joke she's just, it's hilarious. Oh, it's the funniest joke ever.
That was all set up. My president, Joe Biden.
Yes.
Vice President Harris.
And yes, my president too. He is my president until February 1st, 2023. By the way, good morning, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
And Willett Forge and Lord Stanhope, and there's a bunch of people showed up. All right, let's continue here. So anyway, well, I guess it was a joke. And in the same way, A mean husband is joking when he says to his wife, "That dress makes you look like a cute circus elephant," and then tries to avoid her wrath by insisting, "That was a joke. I bet you look cute." No, it wasn't a joke. Biden showing the deference of the beta male to the alpha male, or the abused wife to her abuser. Later introduced himself as Obama's vice president and Jill Biden's husband. Here's that clip.
Thank you very much. Please. My name is Joe Biden. I'm Barack Obama's vice president. And I'm Jill Biden's husband. By the way, the only reason Jill's not here today, she's working. She's teaching. And so I just want you to know that's why she's not here.
So he kind of came back and tried to do a funny too. Anyway, self-deprecating humor is when you're allegedly the president of what was the world's most powerful nation. Isn't charming. It's unnerving. Worse was still to come. Normally, everyone in the room should be clamoring to be near the American president. After all, political power is the strongest magnetic force in the world. But in Biden's case, he was the creep at the party, the one everyone assiduously ignores and avoids. Okay, we already saw that clip. Not only was Obama the magnetic force in the room, but he also made it clear. Do you want to see that again? Do you want to see it again? Joe Biden wandering around like John Travolta. Where's everybody? Why is everyone over there? No one wants to talk to me. Nobody wants to talk to me. Everyone wants to talk to him. Well, I'm going to wander over here. Anyway, not only was Obama the magnetic force in the room, but he also made it clear to all that they should shun Biden. Now, this is interesting. I didn't see this clip. Oh, dear. I did not see that clip. I did not see this clip. Watch. Well, after this. Well, thank you, Tyler Alexander. Tyler Alexander, you are the new, what the hell?
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day.
Dropping a bullet in the tip jar at 223, saying, "Oh, it's a sponsor." Hang on a second. Well, I'm going to show this clip before I do the sponsor. But thank you, Tyler Alexander. I appreciate you as always. Real quick, I want to run this one back because look at this. Biden trying to get Obama's attention while Obama's talking to everybody but him, and everyone's back is turned to the president. This is really not looking good. This is not looking good. Look at this again. You know what's funny? There's somebody who's kind of noticing this and trying not to look. Look at now. I want to show it one more time. I want you to look at the faces of this guy. Can you see my thing there, the pointer? This guy and this gal watching this go on. They're trying not to look. Check it out. They must be Secret Service people because they're seeing this go on. Well, no, he's not. She must be Secret Service. This guy's over here, keeps looking over going, "This is not good." Holy smokes. Hello, Zach of the future. Oh my gosh, that's sad. That is really sad. Anyway, watching Biden paw at Obama's shoulder, only have Obama aggressively ignore him is uncomfortable viewing, even if Obama has no respect for the man, and who would, given Biden's stupidity, incompetence, corruption. Obama, of all people, should show respect for the office. But for Obama, the point of the presidency was never about the office itself. It was always about the fact that Obama bestowed glory on the office. No wonder, then, that his speech, as always peppered with his favorite pronouns, no he, him for Obama, it's always I, me. Meanwhile, an animated Kamala Harris also assiduously ignored her boss. For her, Obama was the only man in the room. 3 takeaways from this. 1, Obama, whether in his walled D.C. Colorama home or in his coastal property in Martha's Vineyard or Hawaii, is probably the one running the White House show. 2, Obama has signaled that Biden's presidency is over, making Biden toxic. That's the message Tucker Carlson drew, something he illustrated with clips showing Democrat media talking heads finally addressing Biden's economic failures. And 3, Kamala Harris still thinks she has a shot at the presidency when, not if, Biden is removed. She was auditioning hard for the job, trying to show Obama that she'll do better than Biden at preserving and expanding the hard-left Obama legacy. However, Obama, who is an extremely smart politician despite his ignorance and broken Marxist moral compass, knows that Kamala is as bad or even worse than Biden. And the fact left me with an admittedly wild theory about how Obama may intend to fix things. Obama's aiming to get back into the Oval Office. Now, I don't know about that. I'm not believe that. But let's hear this out, okay? The premise is that Obama fully understands that if Biden is ousted immediately under the 25th Amendment, there are only idiots and incompetents to take his place. If it's not Kamala Harris, then it's Nancy Pelosi. And if it's not her, then it's Patrick Leahy, Anthony Blinken, Janet Yellen, Lloyd Austin, Merrick Garland, etc. Obama knows none of these non-entities will secure the transformation he promised America. Instead, there are 3 steps to return Obama to the presidency. 1, have the Democratic establishment remove Kamala Harris from office, whether through threats or bribes. 2, have the Democrats declare that because world instability, Ukraine, Putin, China, puts us at an unprecedented risk, only a politically seasoned person can be vice president, with Obama graciously accepting that role. Ousted Biden, use the 25th Amendment, and voila, President Obama again. After they do that, he can even have Stacey Abrams as his VP. Oh my God! Stop! This is killing my brain. I hated even to say that out loud. The 22nd Amendment does not bar Obama from regaining the presidency this way. It only stops him from being elected to the office. The 3 steps above avoids an election. Obama will then have 2.5 years to lock down America's fundamental transformation into a fully socialized third world country, and Biden has given him a head start when it comes to destroying the institutions. Heck, if Obama does the job right, he could be the new Putin or Erdogan. America's president for life. Ah, yes, that sounds crazy, but the events since 2020 show that we really are nothing more than a fancy banana republic. Okay, that's that. We'll watch the Tucker's. Maybe we'll take a look at how long is this Tucker Carlson clip? It's too long. I'm not playing it. Nah, it's 11 minutes long, but it'll be in the description down below. It's in this. I'll even put a separate YouTube link to that Tucker Carlson clip talking about this event. As soon as I hit the pause button here, and then we'll go. Good evening. Then we'll go to commercial. And then I'll come back with the rest of the show. Today's sponsor. Oh, I need sponsor music. Let's try. Let's go with something instrumental, poppy, kind of. Let's see. Let's go. Let's no vocals. All right. Let's try. Here's our commercial for the day. Today's sponsor is Helping Hands. Is your pudding brain constantly getting lost? Call us. Our helpers will ensure that your pudding brain will never get lost on the way to sniff kids or at a function where he should be the VIP. Give Joe a helping hand with Helping Hands. Thank you, Ty Alexander. That's a fantastic commercial. I appreciate it. And thank you for being the superstar sponsor of the day. That's fantastic. All right. Good morning, Unacceptable Views. Welcome back, our friend from Canada there. All right. Let's move on. Let's see. There's the Tucker Carlson clip. We'll close that. Let's see. Just a couple. Now we'll just get into some kind of just one-off news items, and we'll finish the show with that. First of all, apparently there are 40% 40% of the House Republicans who voted to impeach Trump are exiting Congress. Apparently, Fred Upton is the latest. Representative Fred Upton, Republican of Michigan, on Tuesday announced his exit from Congress, notching up a 40% exit rate among House Republicans who voted to impeach Donald Trump. Just before announcing his retirement, Upton noted in a campaign email on Tuesday very positive poll numbers on his primary race against Trump-endorsed Representative Bill Huizenga. Both Huizenga and Upton were running for the same seat due to state redistricting. My district was cut like Zorro, 3 different ways, Upton told reporters. So I've been here 36 years. When I first ran, I thought I'd be here 10. I've never even, you know what's weird? If you've ever heard of, by the way, on the poll, let's check the poll here. 44% thought the joke was intentional, 56% thought not. Well, that's, yeah, it probably was. I don't know. I can't decide if it's intentional. I'm not buying it. Anyway. If you've heard of Fred Upton of Michigan, put a 1 in the chat. If you haven't, put a 2. It's weird because I thought I knew the name of every person in Congress for the most part, even the newer ones, and I've never heard of Fred Upton. Just saying. Anyway, I got a lot of unfinished business that I'm going to be working on now, but no, this was our decision, independent of what I did with Trump, Upton said, acknowledging that his failed vote to impeach Trump. Upton joins 3 other pro-impeachment Republicans to forego running for re-election. Those include Representatives John Katsko, Republican of New York, Anthony Gonzalez, Republican from Ohio, and Adam Kinzinger, Republican from Illinois. Hoo boy. Gonzalez I've heard of. Katko, I've heard the name. Kinzinger, well, you know. Upton quits, 4 down and 6 to go, losing badly. Who's next? Additional pro-impeachment Republicans may also not make it to the November midterms. Representative Tom Rice and Liz Cheney are facing tough re-election campaigns. Donald Trump called Rice a disaster in March, and he is laughed at in Washington. That's Trump saying that. There's a couple more here. And Cheney, well, we know all about Liz Cheney. All right, let's keep going here. Democrats are in trouble with their dedicated base, according to new focus group data. Politico published some hand-wringing this morning about the distress in Democrats' base. As it turns out, 2 key constituencies are not at all happy with President Joseph Rahim Biden, leading to concern ahead of the predicted red wave in November, according to Ryan Lizza and Eugene Daniels in Tuesday's playbook. So here's it is. HID Strategy has been conducting weekly focus groups to find out in real time how Americans are processing events in 2022. On Monday night, we watched a discussion with 2 different subgroups of partisan Democrats assembling by the firm. Black base, always vote Dems, ages 25 plus, and youth base, always vote Dems, ages 25 to 39. There were significant differences within and between the 2 groups of 9 voters. 9 voters anyway. But here are some broad takeaways. 1, a preoccupation with inflation and crime. Well, these are always vote Democrat peoples. Exhaustion with pandemic restrictions. Yep. Cynicism about politics. Well, I guess if Joseph Rahim Biden is your president, you might start looking at him funny. Deep frustration that President Joe Biden and Democrats have failed to deliver on their early promises. Sympathy for Ukraine mixed with lack of enthusiasm for Biden spending too much time and money on the issue. Interesting. And finally, what the hell's going on here? An ambiguity about how important January 6th should be for Democrats in the midterms. Yeah, they spend a lot of time. They like to talk about January 6th, and I don't think the general population is really that into it. I'm just saying. The focus group dispense with the fiction that voters only care about unemployment numbers or economic growth when they pay significantly more for groceries and gas personally. According to Lizzo and Daniels, participants use words like exhausted, uptight, unsure, concerned, and anxious to describe their feelings about the current environment. They also noted the discussion of rising costs for everyone from education to medication dominated hours-long conversations. These concerns reflect an increase in the percentage of Americans who see the economy as the nation's biggest problem. I thought we had a booming economy. What are you talking about? Did y'all see the thing the other day? And I'm done with this. You can read the rest yourself. But so some Democratic voters are disillusioned with what's going on right now. Did y'all see the thing the other day? Well, first of all, there was the one that said MSNBC had some article where they were calling this a booming economy. Well, which and it was somebody, Jennifer Rubin, you know, the conservative blogger at the Washington Post, had an article where she was saying, you know, if you didn't count inflation, boy, this would be the best economy ever. And I was like, but isn't that inflation part kind of important? And so they what they like to do is they like to talk about, well, Joe Biden created 7 million, 8 million jobs, the most of any president ever in the first year of the presidency. You mean we reopened the jobs that we shut down due to the pandemonium, pandemonium, right? So I'm just saying, the fact that even Democrats are disillusioned, that's not good for the Democrats right now. But don't worry, I'm confident that Republicans can snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. So don't hold your breath. They're going to find ways, like that Tennessee bill we talked about the other day. Now, it didn't sound good. Doesn't sound good that it makes that the Democrats can come up with a talking point that says you're trying to remove age restrictions from marriage. Okay. All they have to do, remember we talked about the other day, so the Tennessee legislature has a bill that's some common law thing. They're just trying to revamp or reopen the marriage debate about gay marriage. So they're trying to make this new kind of common law marriage that you can have that is between one man and one woman, right? But they forgot to put that they don't have explicit age restrictions in that type of marriage. And all they have to do is make an amendment or just say that this bill still keeps the age restrictions for marriage. That's all they got to do. But because they've acknowledged that, oh yeah, I guess the bill the way it's written doesn't have an age restriction for marriage, so the Democrats and the media, which is redundant, are starting to nickname it that you can marry a child bill, okay? And it's like, look, stop, snatching defeat from the jaws, or snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. That's what I'm saying. Stop! Don't fuck it up, Republicans. Like you always find a way. Anyway, moving on. The anti-lynching bill. You remember that one? The anti-lynching bill. Well, in the Federalist, there's a good article. We won't go through the whole thing. But interesting take on that anti-lynching bill, how it could let prosecutors imprison you for a crime you did not commit. The Anti-Lynching Act became a key piece in the arsenal for U.S. intelligence agencies' war on free speech. Touted as an overdue, if not duplicative, law that no one could disagree with, the Anti-Lynching Act signed by President Biden last week, which basically makes murder super double illegal, includes a subtle provision that could boost the Biden administration's war on wrongthink. The bill sailed through the U.S. Senate and the House with ease. Tactful naming made the bill radioactive to oppose, which is why 422 congressmen voted in favor while only 3 opposed the bill. Representative Thomas Massey, one of the 3 who voted against the bill, expressed a handful of concerns, including that there are a limited number of constitutionally specified federal crimes, that lynching is already criminalized, and that adding enhanced penalties for hate on top of existing criminal punishments tends to endanger other liberties such as freedom of speech. It's not illegal to be hateful, right? He also highlighted another potential pitfall of the legislation. The bill creates another crime of conspiracy, which I'm concerned could be enforced over broadly on people who are not perpetrators of a crime. Here's the section Massey is referring to. Quote, Whoever conspires to commit an offense under paragraph 1 or 2, or shall, if death or serious bodily injury, as defined in section 2246 of this title, results from the offense, or if the offense includes kidnapping or an attempt to kidnap, aggravated sexual abuse, or attempt to commit aggravated sexual abuse, or attempt to kill, may be in prison for not more than 30 years, fined in accordance with this title, or both. Now, the bill amends the Hate Crimes Prevention Act passed in 2009, which defines and criminalizes hate crimes. The minimum qualification is an attempt to cause bodily injury due to the victim's race, sexual orientation, nationality, gender, religion, or disability. Now, bodily injury can be defined as physical pain or any other injury to the body, no matter how temporary. Sensibly, the 2009 law requires an attempt at violence to be made, which is a crime itself regardless of prejudice motives, aka assault. This new anti-lynching law takes this a step further by criminalizing, quote, conspiracy, end quote, to commit certain hate crimes. See where this is going? You don't have to commit a crime. There can just be a conspiracy to commit a crime. Now, I'm sure that someone will retort, conspiracy to commit a federal crime is already a federal crime. And this is not a universally accepted interpretation of conspiracy law, nor does the law language or historical precedent justify such a broad interpretation, hence the ostensible necessity for a new anti-lynching law. Criminal conspiracies are those plotting against the United States, like the Volkswagen executives who attempted to defraud the Environmental Protection Agency by faking emission results, and more recently, the leader of the Oath Keepers who pled guilty to seditious conspiracy for his part in the January 6th riot. So as of last Tuesday, it is illegal to simply agree to participate in an act if it falls under the categories highlighted above. One can imagine dark political humor venturing into these categories. A comment such as, I hate so-and-so so much I could kill him, for example, being interpreted as conspiring to lynch. So, and there's more details here, but you get the point. Again, I've always been very, very skeptical of the idea of a hate crime. Okay, a crime is a crime, no matter what you think about it. Does it make it worse because you think? Are you allowed to think something? I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Biden abandons his Build Back Better agenda. That's in the Washington Examiner here. Move that over so you can see it. Don't tell me that you don't tell me what you value. Show me your budget, and I'll tell you what you value. President Joe Biden loves to say. He said it again when he introduced his fiscal 2023 budget this week. As bad as the increased $1.4 trillion in spending and $22.5 trillion in higher taxes over the next decade are, what is most noteworthy is what isn't in the document. Biden's signature legislative agenda, Build Back Better. It's gone. So sure, there's a footnote explaining that the budget includes a reserve for legislation that reduces costs, expands productive capacity, and reforms the tax system. No doubt this is meant to be a placeholder for Biden's Build Back Better agenda, which the budget claims is still being discussed with Congress. It's dead. Bury it. It's dead. And now your press secretary's leaving, and she can't even put a lipstick on that pig. Anyway, it's gone. Moving on. Let's see. Oh, the UN ambassador from Ukraine got a little heated talking about his Russian counterpart. Ukrainian ambassador to the United States, Sergei Kislyak. Sorry, Ukrainians, I tried. Unloaded on his Russian counterpart during Tuesday's session, accusing the Russian occupation forces Ukraine of enjoying acting like Nazis. Oh. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky addressed the international body on Tuesday as well, sharing video and images from Ukraine that showed the destruction and civilian casualties who had allegedly been brutalized and left behind as Russian forces retreated from the area surrounding the capital city of Kyiv. You know, I got to tell you, those videos, I'm trying to figure out how the bodies were lined up along the road, kind of so symmetrically, and you could just drive down the middle of the road. They were just all on the edge of the road. You know, it was weird how they did that. If the Russians did that and were just, because they said, oh, they were killing people and they were running over women and children with tanks, then running over them again. But then they show the video and they're driving down the road and there's one here, and there's one here, and there's one here, and there's one here, and there's one here. I mean, it's like, is that how this happened? I don't know. Anyway, here's the, let's see if they, what do they got here?
And now we're seeing blatant criminally staged events with the Ukrainian civilians who are killed by their own radicals in the best traditions of Goebbels to accuse the Russian army. Those killed in the areas from which the Russian forces withdrew after encouraging peace negotiations in Istanbul. So now it turns out that we shouldn't have withdrawn. I'm talking about Bucha first and foremost. I understand that you you saw corpses and heard testimonials, but you only saw what they showed you. You couldn't ignore the flagrant inconsistencies in the version of events which are being promoted by Ukrainian and Western media. The fact that the corpses were not there right after the withdrawal of the Russian forces, which is confirmed by several videos, and the fact that there are recordings where Ukrainian radicals urged shooting at those with white armbands, in other words, against civilians. If you saw the video very carefully that was shown today, you'll see that those people who are on the ground have white armbands. These are civilians. And the fact that the corpses on the video in no way resemble those that could have been lying on the street for 3 or 4 days. And based on the sensational and completely scientifically absurd information of the New York Times, they were there since the 20th of March. So the only ones who could fall for this fake are absolute dilettantes or Western partners who don't want to hear anything and have been calling black white and vice versa for a long time now.
Okay, now, that didn't sound, was that the Russian representative? Oh, that was the Russian. He was making claims that the footage from Bucha is contradicted by satellite imagery confirmed by this BBC. He says there are flagrant inconsistencies in events shown by Ukrainian and Western media. So now, the Ukrainian ambassador, here's the Ukrainian ambassador answering that question.
I quote your own words of yesterday in the press conference that you gave here in the headquarters, where you said that civilians are killed by your army. Or shall I not? Shall I play the video? You said it is a war. Civilians are killed in the war. It's a warfare, you said. Or perhaps in your mindset, a children's hospital in Mykolaiv, destroyed by the Russian strike yesterday, was a military target. And perhaps a child killed as a result of the strike was a Ukrainian nationalist.
Okay, so that's him going off. Oh, here we go. Here's the rest of it.
I would like to make my further statement in response to the hypocritical questions by Putin's representative. After the video we saw with the shocking images from Bucha, Irpin, Matizhin, and other sites, he should ask these very questions to himself. How have Russians got to the cruelty of Nazis? When have you started enjoying acting like Nazis? Killing civilians, attempting to redraw internationally recognized borders, setting the task to finally resolve the Ukrainian issue, like Hitler attempted to resolve
he tried to
the
make
Jewish
it sound
issue.
like the final solution thing. That's what he's
When
saying.
did you miss the point of Russia's turning into the Nazi-style cancerous tumor? Unable and unwilling to stop expanding and bringing to neighboring nations, sufferings, destruction, pain, and death.
So someone says there's a, James says there's a Robert Barnes and Viva Frei on Sunday, white versus blue armbands. Like, look, my question is, as I watch that video, is the same as the Russian ambassador. And again, fuck the Russians, okay? They should not have invaded Ukraine. However, the propaganda of them showing this trip down through the streets with the bodies lined up symmetrically on the street. Someone said no birds, no crows, no nothing, no attracting, birds that pick at bodies. The bodies supposedly have been there several days. Why are the bodies still there several days if you're driving down the road after this Russian withdrawal? It's just odd. It doesn't make sense. It's a propaganda war as much as it's a war. All right, let's move on. More Ukrainian updates. Zelensky tells the U.S. that Russian committed war crimes in Bucha. We've been talking about this all week. Day 41, Russia will not stop. The Bucha massacre will likely trigger more sanctions, but will not put a dent in anything. Ukraine Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba said that Mariupol is worse than Bucha. Now you know why I mentioned Mariupol a lot. There's a stream here from there. Zelensky is accusing Russia of war crimes. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky accused Russian troops of gruesome atrocities in Ukraine and told the UN Security Council on Tuesday that those responsible should immediately be brought up on war crime charges in front of the tribunal, like the one set up at Nuremberg after World War II. Zelensky, appearing via videos from Ukraine, told the council members that civilians had been shot in the back of the head after being tortured, blown up with grenades in their apartments, and crushed to death by tanks while in cars. So they should have evidence of all this, right? I don't know that we've seen that. They cut off limbs, cut their throats. Women were raped and killed in front of their children. Their tongues were pulled out only because the aggressor did not hear what they wanted to hear from them, he said, recounting what he described as the worst atrocities since World War II. Likening the troops' actions to those of Islamic State, Zelensky said the Russian military and those who gave them orders must be brought to justice immediately for war crimes in Ukraine. And then they say that there was a mayor family found, or one of the mayors says family found murdered and buried in a shallow grave. The bodies of the mayor of a Ukrainian village outside Kyiv and her husband and adult sons were reportedly found in a shallow grave after 3 were abducted by Russian occupying forces. Mayor of the village of Motsham, Olga Sukhenko, was unfortunately killed in captivity by the Russians. Ukrainian Deputy Prime Minister Irina Vereshchuk confirmed. This is a war crime. So there are multiple accusations of war crimes. And then the Red Cross apparently cannot evacuate people in Mariupol. A convoy of 7 buses with the International Committee of the Red Cross intended to evacuate people from Mariupol, Ukraine, was reportedly stopped Monday on the way to its destination and is being held by police near Manhush. A team of the International Committee of the Red Cross is being held in the town of Manhush, 20 kilometers west of Mariupol. ICRC spokesman Jason Stazuzio said, according to Reuters, he said police were holding the convoy but clarified that it was not a hostage situation. Whose police? The police of who? Of the town of Mariupol? Who's holding these people hostage? They say the police is, so that's not the Russians. That's the Ukrainian holding them hostage. I don't understand. Also, Zelensky, again, Russian tilted tortured over 300 in Bucha. This is just a full update from various news sources. All right. And also, Zelensky has declared that peace negotiations in Russia might not happen, or with Russia might not happen. Following the claim of genocide against the Ukrainian people at the hands of Russian forces, the country's president, Volodymyr Zelensky, has stated that negotiations to end the conflict might not happen. During a television appearance, he said, "In this meeting, we could find the way out of the situation without losing our territory. I think that this is the bar we have to set for these negotiations, and then we will see. It might not happen that there will be it might happen that there will be no negotiations. It might happen." He was referring to the alleged massacre in Bucha. So that's, now, Russia responded to the claims that its forces committed war crimes by brutally murdering civilians in a town close to Kyiv, calling the incident fake and labeling it orchestration as a staged false flag provocation. Questions over what happened remain in as Ukrainian police posted on Facebook that they conducted a clearing up in Puka the day before the videos emerged, showing dead bodies scattered around the settlement as the war of words over the alleged war crimes continues. The U.S. broadcast media has run with the genocide narrative, despite the New York Times and other outlets, as well as the Pentagon declaring that the Ukrainian claims cannot be verified. MSC this morning did a full-fledged editorial for direct U.S. NATO intervention. And this is Michael Tracy, who's very much against any U.S. involvement. But here's the here's the clip of
sanctions and strongly worded condemnations and the seizing of oligarchs' mega yachts.
Wait a minute.
No longer sufficient as the evidence of
Is
war
this
crimes and crimes against humanity continue to grow.
You know who
Putin
this
has
is?
No regard for life or humanity or even the rules of war. He's proven that time and time again, and he has also
Is he in?
the indiscriminate
Is he
killing of
there? Is he in
civilians
front of a
time
green
and
screen?
time again, twice before in Ukraine and in Chechnya. The global world order.
Is he like on top of a building in Ukraine? That's this Velshi. What's his name? Something Ari Velshi, whatever. This is fiery but peaceful protest guy. You remember it's the fiery but peaceful protest in Minneapolis? That's him. And he's calling for actual NATO intervention.
Potentially democracy's survival hang in the balance. If this isn't the kind of moment that the United Nations and NATO and the UN and the G20 and the Council of Europe and the G7 were made for, what is the point of these alliances if not to stop this? The world cannot sit by as Vladimir Putin continues this reign of terror.
All right. Anyway, that's MSNBC. Joe Biden again declaring that Vladimir Putin is a war criminal, this time calling for a trial against the Russian leader. Here's Joe Biden. Oh, well, that's not working. It's on Twitter. Hang on a second. Here's Joseph Biden.
You may remember I got criticized for calling Putin a war criminal. Well, the truth of the matter, you saw what happened in Bucha. This warrants him, he is a war criminal. But we have to gather the information. We have to continue to provide Ukraine with the weapons they need to continue.
Okay, but we don't have confirmation. But he is a war criminal. What's
the fight?
What?
And we have to gather all the detail so this can be have a war crime trial. This guy is brutal, and what's happening in Bucha is outrageous, and everyone's seen it. Up to Allah. No, I think it is a war crime.
But you about it, sir? Are you going to do more sanctions on Russia?
I'm seeking more sanctions, yes. I'll have time to announce that to you. He should be held accountable. Well, no.
What else can you do?
No. Go to the war crime tribunal. Yes, I'm going to continue to add sanctions. Thank you. I'll let you know.
All right, so that's Raheem doing his thing. All right. Anyway, all right. Let's do some odds and ends and then get out of here. Other articles that are available again. Biden's own study confirms the worst about the left's climate agenda. The Biden administration issued a study showing how electricity prices would increase if the U.S. were to ban all future interstate natural gas pipeline projects. Remember how we were saying, oh, you should get an electric car, right? You should get an electric car. Well, yeah, but the price of electric cars are really high. You'd have a big old car payment, and you have to change the batteries every 5 years. And electric prices would go through the roof because, well, you know, California has rolling blackouts, and the problem with Texas when it gets cold and everywhere else. If everyone went to electricity, then the price of electricity would go up. The supply and demand, dumbasses. Anyway, so there's an article on that. Also, let's see here. Come on. There we go. Black Lives Matter leaders have apparently been calling the shots on social media censorship, according to a report. The Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation leaders reportedly used their influence with social media platforms to censor reporting on the organization's financial activities, like another $6 million house they found out they bought. Internal communications from the group chat called BLM Security Hub, which reportedly included members of the BLM, GNF, and consulting firms with connections to the organization, appear to show the foundation's efforts to use its connections to push social media networks to remove negative content about the group, according to New York Magazine. The BLM Security Hub chat reportedly included members from Janaya and Patrice Consulting. That would be Patrice Colors, the owner of 3 of those BLM houses, which I think it says by, what is it? BLM? By something, legal mortgages, I don't know. Anyway, Facebook currently does not allow users to share the 2021 New York Post article on the former executive director of BLM, Patrice Cullors' spree of multi-million-dollar real estate purchase, according to New York Magazine. Facebook parent company Meta said the article violates community standards. An article about Patrice Cullors buying houses all over the place violates the community standards of Facebook? What the actual F are you talking about, Facebook? Anyway, does it surprise you at all? Does it surprise you at all that they have a little bit of extra influence with social media companies when it comes to what people can post on their social media? Good God. Anyway, also, there's a decade of details of the Black Lives Matter that they bought that will make you want to quit your job and start making TikToks about white fragility. So how long is this one? I can't remember. So let's see. You got to look at this. I don't have time. I got to move on. Anyway, there's 10 decade of details. Here's just one. Okay. Parking. You can fit up to 24 Ferraris in the parking space of this $6 million home that Black Lives Matter bought. Lots of security in case they succeed in abolishing the police. They have walls and pointy spear fences and security systems. Lots of history. Humphrey Bogart and Marilyn Monroe were among the Hollywood celebrities who stayed as house guests at this luxurious estate built in 1936. Oh, look at the nice pool, too. Also, 5, this amazing swing set with a twirly tube slide. Well, I had one of these in my backyard, so I can't say that is a special feature of a $6 million house, but it does have one. My house was about $200,000 when I had that house, but we had one of these in the backyard because I had kids that played and liked the rock climbing thing, and they tried to go across these things, even though possible terror could actually. But it has tons of closet space. Yes, the $6 million Black Lives Matter house, not Black Lives Matter the thought, but the organization. Has lots of closet space and a butler's pantry. Very nice. I wish I had a pantry that big. That would be awesome. And then it has an epic content cave, an influencer's dream complete with studio and big ass TVs and places to do shit. And it has an automatic paper towel dispenser. Ooh, that's special. In your own house, you have your own paper towel dispenser. And lots of fireplaces, heat lamps, and frigid Los Angeles winters, of course. One of the fireplaces was imported all the way from Italy. Another features a handmade Arto cement tile hearth. Okay, so they have 1, 2, 3 very nice fireplaces. One's outdoors. They have an outdoor fireplace, too. That's kind of nice. I wouldn't mind building one of those in my backyard. And then finally, this adorable indoctrination desk. Yes, it has a desk with. Oh, and they put a fake picture of Kendi up there. Anyway, bonus, it has an American flag. This photo was taken prior to the BLM purchase, so they may well have taken that down. All right, so that's how I'm going to end the show. Headlines, I'll give you the headlines. Proud Boys Tario pleads not guilty to January 6th conspiracy charges. Well, he wasn't there. Also, this is an interesting one. Apparently, in the blacklisted Americans section, whites aggressively blocked from attending health department meeting in Seattle. Interesting article, but I don't have time. Also in the tabs, 9 flight attendants are suing the CDC over a mask mandate. Fantastic. They should be doing that. In Issues and Insights, the CDC massively violates its pledge to Americans. Why should anyone trust the CDC now? I wish I had time to go through that. In CNS News, a Judicial Watch has sued Health and Human Services for communications about COVID vaccine side effects. What did they know and when did they know it? In the New York Post yesterday, the Mayor Adams wants the tots to stay masked up. He wants to keep children's masking. Not good. And then in the Washington Free Beacon, anti-racist education set to become a prerequisite for admission to California colleges. So now they're going to be requiring in California universities and colleges, the state universities, that high schoolers have education in white supremacy, anti-blackness, and patriarchy. Students applying to any University of California attends campuses soon may be required to take ethnic studies courses taught through an anti-racist, anti-colonial lens following the faculty board vote meeting last week. The University of California's Academic Senate on March 30 considered the course content guidelines for ethnic studies courses that high schoolers will be required to take before applying to the school system. The guidelines mandate students learn about the impact of systems of power and oppression, such as empire, white supremacy, anti-blackness, xenophobia, and patriarchy in the courses. Well, I guess that is a good thing to know, whether or not they can read and write and do chemistry and math and shit. Doesn't matter as long as you know about whiteness studies. Okay. And then South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem will sign executive order banning critical race theories in K through 12. Well, they're not teaching it anyway. So the people who are complaining about that have nothing to complain about because they're already not using it or teaching it in schools. That's fantastic. You can read all these articles in the tab down below. Let's see. The UCLA's Professor Gordon Klein's case is going to trial. This is the professor who refused to have exam leniency for black students, apparently. Gordon Klein is a professor at UCLA's Anderson School of Management. What happened to Klein, which is now subject to a lawsuit, is among the most insane circumstances we've seen in dozens of post-George Floyd academic cancel culture cases we followed. Short story is he refused to change exam or grades of black students during the turmoil in 2020. And so now he was being sued, and they were going to remove him from they suspended him for not doing that, and then he got reinstated, and now they're suing to get rid of him again. So that's a crazy story. Anyway, there's a couple more, but I really, really don't have time today. So check the tabs, check the news links in the description down below, or if you hang out through the outro, it'll be posted in the comments section. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've done this as long as I possibly could, but I'm going to be late if I don't leave right now. So anyway, thank you for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. If you haven't done so already, before you go, hit the like button, share the stream before, during, and after the show. If you're watching on replay, put a comment in the comment section. And finally, thank you to our sponsor today, Mr. Ty Alexander, who is the superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you very much. That's it for today, people. I must leave. Thank you for everyone participating in the chat or lurking in the background or all that stuff you do. Hi, Renee. I just noticed you were here, too. And have a wonderful day. I'm here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock. See you tomorrow, or 10-ish. Whatever time I get off work, it's usually around 10 o'clock that I start the show. Thank you. My name is Dawg Knight. And I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P. Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.